there. Boy, you can really feel a burn starting to kick in, that lactic acid. Hey guys, Mark McKillier here with Lev Anabach, and today I'm going to show you 3 fantastic exercises to build big ripped arms at home. And we're going to be focusing on triceps today. A lot of times guys think to build big arms you got to really work those biceps. And the problem is your triceps are bigger than your biceps. They're actually 2/3 of the total mass of your upper arm, okay? So that's why I've selected 3 fantastic tricep exercises, and they're all band exercises. So when I'm working out at the gym, my favorite tricep movements typically involve the cable machines. All right, there's some great dumbbell and good barbell exercises I also do, but if I had to pick 3, they would all be cable exercises. And the nice thing about working at home is I can recreate those cable exercises with some resistance bands. These things cost $20 on Amazon. Those cable machines are about $3,000 to $4,000 each. So I'm going to show you 3 exercises that I do at the gym that I'm just basically recreating here at home with some inexpensive bands. Hey, one of the nice things about working arms is it's a small muscle group. So you don't have to do a ton of exercises and you don't have to do a ton of sets. It goes really quick. Arms are typically everybody's favorite day, and I think that might be the reason. So exercise number 1 is an oldie but a goodie. It's the tricep pushdown. Okay, so guys, you're typically going to be pretty strong on this movement, so make sure you use enough resistance to make it difficult to do 10 to 12 reps with good form. Okay, so here we go. I'm doing every exercise today with the anchor at the high position there. So I'm down on my knees, partly because I want to get some pre-stretch, some tension here at the start of the movement. If I'm standing up, the bands won't have any tension in them. So the first part of the movement will be basically doing nothing. So I'm getting down here. I'm even going to squat down a little bit. Hands are facing with my palms down. I'm going to try to keep my elbows nice and still, and I'm just going to push straight down until I lock out my elbows. And I'm controlling the resistance of these bands, not just on the downward or the concentric part of the movement, but I'm also controlling it when I'm raising my hands, and that's the eccentric. That's just as important. So guys, shoot for 10 to 12 reps. That's kind of the honey hole for the muscle growth range when it comes to reps per set. And if you find yourself getting to your 12th rep and you know deep down that you could have done 3, 4, 5 more reps, then you're not pushing yourself hard enough. And on your next set, add some resistance. All right, so that's exercise number 1, and I want you guys to shoot for 2 to 3 sets of every exercise, and give yourself no more than 60 seconds rest in between sets. All right, so the second exercise is called an overhead tricep extension, and I'm picking these 3 exercises even though they look very similar. We're putting our elbows in a slightly different position with every exercise. So basically what we're doing is we're hitting our tricep muscles from different angles. Now, we're still calling upon all the same muscle fibers in each exercise, but we're kind of redirecting how we're using those muscle fibers. And that's why I think you really need diversity when it comes to just building muscle. You can't just pick your favorite exercise and just do a ton of sets of that. Your body needs to have its muscles worked from different angles, different ranges of motions, different starting points, different hand positions. It makes a big difference, guys. All right, so here's the form. Now, you're not going to be able to use as much resistance as those tricep pushdowns we just did. So I'm going to lean forward. I'm going to have a real wide base because it's going to want to kind of throw you off balance. Then I'm going to bend over, and this is my starting point right here with my hands right behind my head, and I'm going to try to keep my elbows in one spot as best as possible. And you kind of see the speed I'm doing here, the tempo. because you got to get that mind-muscle connection when you're doing this exercise. Otherwise, you'll end up kind of moving your elbows around too much and end up using other muscles like your shoulders and your back. And we're trying to do an isolation movement. We're really just focusing on our triceps. And I realize, guys, that this is kind of an awkward movement. So the first time you do this exercise, you may not quite get the hang of it, but just stick with it. After you do a few sets, it'll become much more kind of natural. All right, so the third and final exercise is just a reverse grip tricep pushdown. So the first exercise we did was a tricep pushdown, but it was with a traditional grip with our hands facing down, our palms facing down. This is a reverse grip, so we're gonna have our palms facing up. Now, one arm at a time. That means I gotta kind of loop the same color band through the anchor and then back down to the handle. You're not gonna be able to use as much weight on this exercise really because of the orientation of our hand and our wrist. All right, it's gonna be working your triceps. See, when we were doing the triceps to begin with the push down, see my orientation? Now all I'm gonna do is rotate my hand and grip the handle this way, and I'm gonna be still working my triceps, but from a radically different angle. So that's why I always include this, and I rarely see anybody doing it at the gym. And I think it's a big mistake to miss out on this hand position for this exercise. So reverse grip, tricep push down, okay? It's a great exercise also because you can just focus, get that mind-muscle connection on one arm at a time. And I'm just gonna all the way down. Keep that palm facing up. And as you go down, you're just gonna rotate so that your thumb ends up on the top of the handle down at the bottom. My thumb is right on top. You're shooting for 10 to 12 reps. Good form. See how my elbows staying in one place? And at the bottom, I try to straighten my arm as much as possible and lock my elbow out. You'll really feel a big burn. All right, I'm gonna switch over to the left arm here. You may not be able to see it nearly as well, but exact same thing. I'm just really focusing right now on trying to squeeze, especially at the bottom right there. Boy, you can really feel a burn starting to kick in, that lactic acid. And then don't let that handle just snap up. You got to resist the band throughout the full range of motion. So guys, 3 exercises. You only need 2, maybe 3 sets per exercise, and you're done. I mean, it's a small muscle group. You can get a lot accomplished in a real short period of time. And most guys really neglect their triceps. And because of that, their arms aren't nearly as big as they easily could be. All right, guys, once again, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.